If you spent much time on the internet looking at political commentary sites, if you wasted your time going to any of those lunatic right-wing conspiracy sites, the pro-Trump or pro-Poilievre ones, well, you've probably seen the word globalist thrown around an awful lot. What the hell is that all about? I'll tell you. When populist politicians and their supporters start to accuse someone of being a globalist, they're not just talking about economic policy or foreign policy. They're making a loaded political and cultural accusation.
When I'm prime minister, that radical, borderless, globalist ideology pushed by the Trudeau-Carney liberals will end, and we will have a prime minister that seals the border, protects our people, and puts Canada first.
What they're trying to do is they're trying to imply that that these globalists have disloyalty to their nation. They suggest that globalists care more about international elites, multinational corporations, or global institutions like the United Nations, International Monetary Fund, or WEF, the World Economic Forum, than they do about their own country's people. They accuse globalists of being wealthy, out-of-touch elitists who benefit from globalization, free trade, immigration, and open borders. But in many cases, it's just a dog whistle for cultural or racial anxiety. The idea is that globalists support mass immigration, multiculturalism, and the erosion of traditional or national values. What bunk! At its most extreme, it becomes part of a conspiracy theory that some shadowy group of global elites are secretly controlling the world. George Soros, the Rothschild, Klaus Schwab, and that has often been tipped into anti-Semitism, especially in far-right circles. So where did all these ideas and thoughts and conspiracies come from? The idea of globalism as a political and economic critique emerged in the 1990s and 2000s as free trade agreements like NAFTA, outsourcing, and the rise of global financial institutions made it clear that corporations could and do move jobs, money, and influence across borders, often leaving working-class communities devastated. By the 2010s, especially after the 2008 financial crisis, populist leaders like Trump, Brexit leaders, Viktor Orban, etc., began weaponizing globalism as a cultural and political boogeyman, a way to explain why people were losing and why the elites were winning. It became a core pillar of the us versus them populist narrative. Us equals hard-working, salt-of-the-earth citizens who love their country. Them are just wealthy globalist elites who run the system for themselves and their own benefit. We've got a whole word salad going there. You'll hear these terms thrown around all the time. New World Order, Davos crowd, deep state, WEF, the World Economic Forum, Soros funded, open borders agenda. It just goes on and on. It's really important to accept that international trade amongst countries, free trade, is really important. It's the cornerstone to economic stability and growth. Without that, you just don't get jobs, don't get growth. Imagine just in your own community, if you said, we will not buy anything from outside of our community. We will not buy from the down the road. We won't buy from that other group over there. Meaning you'd have to do everything yourself. Trade is a way that you can basically trade what you do well for what they do well. And the concept is wonderful. Now, not everyone who critiques globalization or free trade is a conspiracy theorist or a xenophobe. There are serious, legitimate concerns on how global capitalism has worked over the years. But the term globalist, how it's used in populist discourse, is rarely considered a neutral critique. It's typically a shortcut to sow distrust, assign blame, and rally national sentiments for pure political gain. That's what it is. It's a game. People like Trump know that. People like Poilievre know that. Look, one of the biggest things you'll see populists in Canada talking about is WEF, the World Economic Forum. Well, the World Economic Forum is something, which, by the way, Mark Carney was the chairman of, that, Harper, Poilievre mentor, was an active member and attended regularly. Conservatives supported this organization for years, as have most major political parties.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Prime Minister Harper of Canada.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you, Professor Schwab, for that kind introduction. I also want to thank you particularly for the invitation to speak here. You extended to me earlier this year. But more than that, Professor, you have made the World Economic Forum an indispensable part of the global conversation among leaders in politics, business, and civil society. And in the face of continuing global economic instability, the opportunity that this gathering provides is now more valuable than ever. So I know everyone here joins me in thanking you for, in the service really of the common good, your leadership and your vision. My greetings to Ambassador Santi, to the Governor of the Bank of Canada, known internationally as Chair of the Financial Stability Board, Mark Carney, to our hardworking Minister of International Trade, Ed Fast, and to the best finance minister on the planet, Jim Flaherty. That's an official title, he tells me. And let me just say that I'm especially proud to see so many outstanding Canadian business leaders making their presence felt here in Davos.
You know, Poilievre knows so much better than this, okay, right? So why is he all of a sudden opposed to globalists or supporting the globalist critique? Because it gets him votes. He's found there's a whole bunch of the crazies out there, and he's so desperate to become the prime minister one day that he will say anything, do anything to get the support of any group he can. So he's got these right-wing crazies out there running around screaming, globalist, globalist. What does Pierre do? Trudeau's a globalist. Carney's a global elitist. We've got to stop the global. This is just too convenient. And as I say, it's ridiculous. What is especially ironic is that the very central core of Pierre Poilievre's lifelong political belief in libertarianism and free markets makes him a globalist. He is a bigger globalist than almost anybody you'll see, or rather, his political philosophy leads him to be. But even though he spent his entire life talking about free trade, free markets, free enterprise, he's willing to abandon all of that, just throw it all away, his lifetime belief system. Why? To get votes. Because this man is not interested in solving problems, he is interested in getting elected. And the sooner Canadians realize that, the sooner they're just going to say, we want nothing to do with him. And fortunately, they seem to be doing that. Here's a few other videos from the channel that you might enjoy. Please like this video, give me your comments. I love to get your feedback, and subscribe. Thanks a lot and have a great day.